Good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending our webinar today on how to cut costs using Microsoft Teams. Just to introduce myself, my name is Azzat Sayegh. I'm the managing partner of Cloud for Work. We are a company specialized in adoption and change management. So we help organizations like yours leverage the investment that you do in cloud technologies, and more specifically in Microsoft Office 365 and Teams. So for today, I'll be your host, and I would like to also take this opportunity to introduce our guest speaker. I would like to first thank you, Mrs. Aisha Al Ahmad from Emirates Steel. So just a few words. Emirates Steel is really a leading company in the UAE in steel manufacturing, and they are also an example to follow when it comes to digital transformation. They were one of the first companies in the region to adopt Microsoft Teams, and they were actually really ready to work from anywhere, even prior COVID and prior, the current situation that we are living in. So Mrs. Aisha is the program manager, and she is the champion behind this successful adoption at Emirates Steel. And we're happy and excited that she will share with us insights on how they are saving costs using Microsoft Teams. Nika's term is from Cloud for Work, so she's our senior customer success manager, and she will share with us learnings from like hundreds of hours spent solving clients' challenges with Teams and how they save cost with Teams. So for the agenda of today, just to take you through the agenda, so we will talk about Microsoft Teams in numbers, just a slide to set the scene. Then how to save 1 day a week with Microsoft Teams, which is really a lot. How to reduce expenses, and then take you through a case study of an organization who is using multiple tools and how the challenges they faced and so on. And then we will leave the floor to Aisha to tell us about her experience at Emirates Steel and how they adopted Teams and saving costs. And then I'll come back again to tell you about a special offer that we're doing for the webinar attendees. And of course, we'll have a Q&A session at the end. So you will see there is a Q&A box. Please use it. You can use it as a chat. So you just write down your questions in the chat box, in the Q&A chat box, and we will read them at the end and try to answer as many as we can. So with that, Nika, the floor is yours. And
thank you very much, Azzat. I would just like to take this opportunity to thank you all for joining us today, and to thank you, Aisha, for being with us today as well. Some of you know me, and you know that I really enjoy having interactive sessions. On this instance, we have hundreds of you joining us, so we are doing a live event, which means that you will be able to use the chat box, as I've mentioned, so please don't hesitate to post any questions, feedback in the chat box. You can also use the LinkedIn event that we created for this occasion. Since you're all coming from different backgrounds, some of you are coming from IT, some from marketing, some are senior leaders, CEOs, I would just like to start with briefly introducing Microsoft Teams and to give you an update on the numbers when it comes to Teams. So Microsoft Teams is the fastest growing business application in Microsoft's history. As some of you know, it belongs to Microsoft 365 line of subscription, together with some other tools that you might be familiar with. You know that Teams witnessed exceptional growth in the past couple of months, and now we are at 75+ million daily active users. For those who have been using Teams for some time, you know that there were 44 million daily active users in March this year. So I believe we can all agree that this is an exceptional growth. Teams is used by 93 Fortune 100 companies. Again, for those of you who are not familiar with this concept, the Fortune 100 is a list of the top 100 companies in the United States, and it's a subset of the Fortune 500 companies list. And this means that this ranking is based on the total revenues for the company's corresponding fiscal year. So in other words, It means that Teams is used by the leading and the richest companies in the US, 93 out of 100. Teams is now available in 53 languages. I know that most of you who joined us today are coming from GCC countries. So I would like to mention that Teams is available in Arabic language, but I know that we have some participants coming from different European countries. So Teams is certainly available in most of the largest European languages. If you have any questions regarding the availability of Microsoft Teams in your language, again, please don't hesitate to use the chat box and let us know, and we will answer that question after the webinar. Also, another impressive figure is that in April, the company saw more than 200 million Microsoft Teams meeting participants in a single day, and they generated more than 4.1 billion meeting minutes. So this was just a brief overview of what Teams is about and the current numbers. And now I will move to how to save 1 day a week with Microsoft Teams. So the first and a very common challenge nowadays is switching between different applications. So years of technology adoption have led many businesses to have too many disconnected systems and to have trouble in accessing information. So this time lost in navigation is affecting businesses, and 73% of companies in State of the Services Economy 2019 report stated that they spend more than 1 hour per day on average navigating from one application to another. And as you probably know, and many of you do use several applications in a day, so it's very common for a business to regularly use multiple applications throughout the course of a single day in order to access a variety of tools that these applications provide. But this means that you're constantly switching back and forth between these multiple tools, and this time that you spend opening, closing, navigating through applications, maybe in search of needed data or in search of needed information, is often going unnoticed because it's technically considered to be a part of business process. And this is a big challenge because this means that you are spending a lot of time doing this. You might not be aware of how much time you spend doing this, and this can be avoided. So as I said, this report says that people spend 1 hour a day on navigating between different applications. Another report by Forrester, which is the leading marketing research organization in the US specializing in information technology companies, did a specific research on Microsoft Teams, and they figured out that Microsoft Teams can help you save between 1 to 2 hours a week. So we have two different sources, and both agree that you can save a minimum of 1 to 2 hours a week, if not 5 hours a week, by using one tool and by integrating other applications that you're using into this tool. The second challenge is poor collaboration, different communication channels, slow approval processes, and lack of transparency. So these challenges are not common in small or big organizations. They're common everywhere. These are very common challenges. So in order to improve these challenges that you're facing, you can use Teams, because Teams have several functionalities that are addressing these issues that are mentioned on the left-hand side of this slide. Teams will give you chat functionality to chat internally and externally. Teams will give you the options to conduct meetings, to share files, to collaborate on files, give you the option of enhanced search, give you the option of using different filters while searching. And in overall, by benefiting from all these capabilities, you can save up to 4 hours a week. So if we add these 4 hours to the 2 hours mentioned on the top, or to the 5 hours that are mentioned in the US Pacific report, you're definitely able to save 1 day a week with Microsoft Teams. How to reduce expenses with Microsoft Teams. So a very common challenge, and I believe that many of you are facing this challenge, is travel expenses. It can be tickets, it can be hotels, petrol, and then their phone bills, different telephony solutions, expenses for the meeting rooms, the maintenance, and so on. I would like to again give you an example of a case study of a large organization which enabled teams. And by the year 3 of the study, they eliminated 150 overnight trips. So 150 overnight trips were eliminated by the year 3. Which is not just a massive saving in the terms of time, but also a significant cut in the terms of costs. So on their instance, the saving was more than $233,000 over these 3 years. Before I move to deployment and maintaining multiple systems as a challenge, I would also like to say that Teams can help you reduce many other communication software and hardware solutions. And Teams can also help you reduce the time to train and onboard all new hires. And on this instance, the company that I'm referring to in this case study saved more than 1.4 million over 3 years in the terms of hiring and onboarding new employees. And in the terms of savings that are related to web conferencing, long distance mobile phones, on-premise telephony, they saved more than $650,000 over the course of these 3 years. But let's move to deployment and maintaining multiple systems. I believe this will be more relevant to those with the IT background, but I believe that the rest of you will also be able to relate to this. So the total cost of running systems is actually the right measure when you compare the tools. And when you have multiple tools from different providers, you have to factor in a lot of things. First of all, to build a trust relationship with each of the providers. Then you have to go through the procurement process for every tool that you purchase, to set up and deploy the tools on servers, make each tool has a proper backup, high availability setup in place, then to train the end users on different tools, which is also a big challenge, and not to forget that you need to train the help desk staff on each of the tools that you're using. So Teams again can address all these concerns. And then we have investing into a variety of tools with similar functionalities. And this is very closely related to the term that is called shadow IT. So this means that IT invests in tools to be used by all the users in the organization. And sometimes users don't find them appropriate for their day-to-day tasks, don't know what these tools are about, don't know that these tools exist in the organization, and they simply don't use these tools. So eventually you make an investment, but then the users are not using these tools. And I believe the most common example in this region would be WhatsApp. So no matter which tool an organization purchases, some users will just use WhatsApp and exchange messages, or even like send important documents through WhatsApp, and maybe not be compliant with the policies of their organizations, which is not always the safest way to proceed. So Teams again can help you by this subscription that you have, and most of you, I believe, have an existing subscription to Office 365, or now known as Microsoft 365. This means that by investing into a single solution, you're avoiding all these challenges that are shown here. First of all, you're cutting the travel expenses, phone expenses on premises, telephony solution expenses, you're cutting the deployment and maintaining multiple systems expense, and last but not least, you are investing into one line of subscription instead of multiple tools, bringing you back to lowering your investment. Now I will move to a case study where I will tell you a bit more about an organization that is using multiple tools. And this is a real case study. This is an existing person and organization that proceeded this way. And I just wanted to give you an example of how taking certain steps can lead you to a specific direction when it comes to adoption process. So this customer invested in a tool for meetings. I mentioned a few. I'm not mentioning the specific tool, but it was one of these 3. So let's say this person invested into Zoom or WebEx or GoToMeeting, and the intention of this was to simply be able to arrange meetings fit with their customers. But then as the organization is growing and the requirements of the employees are growing, they realize that there is a requirement for an individual file storage and collaboration. So this means that the mentioned tools are not able to address these challenges, these needs, these requirements. So they need to purchase another tool. And then again, maybe some of the people might need these tools, some might not. So they will subscribe to, let's say, either Dropbox or Box to be able to enable them and use this individual file storage. But then again, at some point, the teams are becoming bigger and they need to have a task management tool. Why do they need a task management tool? Maybe they want to assign tasks to their employees to be able to monitor the progress of the specific tasks, to be more transparent in the way they work. And then again, now they already have two tools, but none of these tools is addressing this issue. So they need to add to this subscription. So the list goes on and on. And there is always a new subscription, and maybe there is customization on who will have which tool. Employees get confused, get lost in these numerous subscriptions, and they might end up using some tools that are not provided or encouraged by an organization, and this again will lead them to the risk of shadow IT. Over here, I would just like to give you some more information on what is included in Microsoft 365 or Office 365. So let's say on the left-hand side, you will see the tools that belong to this line of subscription. I would like to mention that not all of the tools are listed here on this slide. We didn't have enough space to put everything, but even those of you who are not familiar with Microsoft 365 know some of the tools, and I believe you use them, such as Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Maybe if you're from finance, maybe you use Power BI. If you work a lot with projects or task management, then you use Planner. So some of these tools are shown on the slide, some are not showing here, but I just wanted to give you a brief overview of how this subscription is enabling to use one tool instead of many. So for, let's say, meetings, communication, collaboration, you can use Teams. On the right-hand side are some of its competitors. For individual file storage, for your own files, again, within Microsoft 365, you will get OneDrive. On the right-hand side, you see some of the competitive items. For document management, there is SharePoint, also for your intranet. On the right-hand side are the competitive products. Maybe you might be in need of conducting surveys or quizzes. Again, you get forms within Microsoft 365. On the right-hand side, you see some other options that are available for additional purchase, additional subscription. Maybe you want to put a scheduling appointments tool on your website to be able to give your customers the opportunity to schedule the meetings with you directly without emailing and asking you about the available timings. Again, on the right-hand side, you see other options as additional investment and additional subscription to use. For whiteboarding, you can use the tool Whiteboard. You can use it as an integrated tool in Teams or individually. Again, you might be aware of some of the competitive products on the right-hand side. For task management, there is Planner to assign tasks and to monitor the progress of tasks. So as I said, these are just some of the tools that belong to this line of subscription. So within one subscription, you get all these tools. You can access them if you go to office.com and you log in with your corporate email address and password. You will see the dashboard and you will be able to access the web versions of all these tools. So this is this unified approach and this unified access to all the tools you might need instead of purchasing plenty of different tools and combining them in a specific way and taking this risk of not being compliant with your IT policies and investing more than you should. The next point is Emirates Steel experience with Microsoft 365 adoption. So the floor is yours, Aisha, and thank you once again for joining us today. I have to admit that I don't know what Aisha is about to say, so this will definitely be a very exciting experience for me as well, and I will also hear something new. So thanks, Aisha.
Thank you for invite me this webinar. Again, from Emirates Steel, Integrated Steel Plant, and I will talk briefly about our experience with Microsoft 365 adoption. Basically, we were having Office 365, but end user utilization was very less, and there was an opportunity to Emirates Steel to optimize the investment in Office 365 by maximizing its usage. So Cloud for Work assists us on the adoption journey, and together we design a 3-month adoption program in order to increase the utilization. So we initiate the project and create our roadmap. This was during last quarter of 2019. First, we define our sponsor and we get the executive buy-in. Then we select the project team member. We include various people from different departments like information technology, along with human capital and communication. We also identify and select good champion for this program, and we were doing frequent assessment of the utilization and as well as technical assessment of our readiness. And we were also Cloud for Work also help us on identifying valuable use case for our organization. Then we have done multiple awareness events with demo and hands-on activity for the user to know that there is a intention of using Office 365 solution. And as you said, Nika, the solution is very rich and have multiple tools to support day-to-day activity in various areas like communication department or marketing and strategy or any other departments. And we have done the activation and did a one-to-one meeting with our executive and managers along with the co-workers, okay, and made a hands-on activity for them in order to feel the value. And across those 3 months, we gain lots of buy-in from multiple areas or multiple people. And still till today, we are doing lots of ongoing awareness for the users in order to remind them and update them about the new enhancement or new features of Office 365. As a result for the adoption, nowadays in Emirates Steel, we are getting too many advantage. Like in normal working days, we have more than 5,000 chat message. We have around 40 messages a day and 300 calls. And if you consider all activity with the Office integrated app for collaboration and managing tasks or whiteboarding, so as I said, the solution is very rich and people are using most of the solutions in a daily basis. And the Office 365 implementation have done across various departments, and most of our employee feels the simplicity and of the application and become our volunteer champion for Office 365. They are starting teaching their colleagues and co-workers, and it's became a lifestyle. As you said, also it's reducing the cost, since the employees hosting the online meetings rather than traveling, and we have removed various duplicated application with a cater of similar functionality like remote access and WebEx. And let me highlight also the biggest advantage during the pandemic of COVID-19. Our execution of working from home activity was very easy, since employees were familiar with the Microsoft Teams earlier, so we eliminate the challenges during that time. That's all for me, and I will hand over to you, Nika, again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aisha. I'll take over from here. It's great to hear that success story at Emirates Steel, especially that you say it's becoming like a lifestyle. You know, the use of the collaboration tools and all those interesting tools that helps in the day-to-day tasks. Of course, as well, you mentioned a lot of cost savings with you know, replacing all the other tools, and you know, avoiding having gray areas between different tools. So you kind of stream down all the tools into one. So I think this is a great cost reduction.
Yes.
We will have also questions to you, Aisha. Maybe we started getting questions. Just to remind the audience, you can use the Q&A box to write down your questions, and we will answer them at the end. So from my side, we just want to we have a Cloud for Work offer for the webinar attendees, and I'm just gonna talk about it briefly. So first thing, we will definitely share the link to the webinar, which is being recorded, and then you can, you know, use it as you want. And from our side, we would like to offer, you know, we are a company who's doing advisory and consultancy to clients to adopt technologies and, you know, achieve all their objectives out of those technologies. So we'd like to offer a 30-minute free consultancy, you know, for everyone who is attending, to ask you know, our advisors questions about maybe challenges, questions, how to do this or how to do that, or maybe some initiatives that you are planning to do. So we can help you with that. You can just get in touch, you know, via the LinkedIn webinar event, or if you want by email at connect@cloudforwork.com. So we will schedule it, and then you can ask, you know, any questions that you have. So we are perfectly on time. We want to now just take the questions that we have received, and some are for Nika and few are also for Aisha. So again, just if you have questions at this stage, just drop them on the chat box, and we will answer them. So the first question that we have here is actually for Nika. So Nika, you talked about organization challenges, and so what do you recommend in order for us to capture our organization challenges? So I think someone maybe has similar challenges, and what is the best way to capture them? Yeah, what? Yes. Just Nika, you are muted actually, so you just have to unmute.
Sorry.
Yes, now we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes. Sorry, my recommendation was to start with the discovery workshops. So technically, the idea is to spend some time with you to talk about your challenges, to capture your challenges and identify them, and then to come up with the proposals and suggestions to overcome these challenges. So this is completely tailored to your organization and your individual challenges, and idea is to come up with the solution that is really suiting your needs, your priorities, your challenges, and your issues. So that would be the first step I would recommend in this journey.
Okay, great. So another question we got on the Office 365. So what was shown on the slide, was it included in Office 365? I think this is related to the slide that had a lot of icons.
Yes, yes, I believe it's this slide, right? Yes. So what is shown here is included in Office 365, and as I mentioned, there's some other tools that you might be more familiar with, even if you're not coming from the IT background, as Excel and Word and PowerPoint, and a lot of other tools that unfortunately I was not able to place on this slide. I just wanted to give you a brief overview of some of the key features that are available, but all of these plus a lot more are available, and please go to office.com and log in there with your corporate email address and password, and you will be able to see the tools which are available in your subscription.
Okay, great. I think we have a question for Aisha. So what advice would you give for someone who is just starting the adoption journey? So I think maybe someone just started the journey, like what do you recommend to start, or how to start?
I believe the best way to start is to learn from others first. So by onboarding the expertise for the adoption, it would be having a proper planning, and they have experience on the previous challenges and for other companies. So best way to start to onboard the expertise for adoption program, and then they will also and you need also to assist your organization as well. In different countries, there are various different scenarios, different challenges. Let's say for Emirates Steel, most of our employees are not familiar with the technology, and we need to deploy the adoption simply for the labor employee, and so we need to assist the organization itself with their existing employees, and also learn from other companies.
Okay, yeah, this is great. Thank you so much. I think, Nika, you mentioned WhatsApp, so there is a question. How would you compare Teams to WhatsApp? Maybe just a few words on this one.
Yes, actually, I would love to, because we have a really nice presentation with a very detailed comparison. And if this person is willing to share their contact details with us, maybe to drop their email address or to leave their contact details on the LinkedIn event or any other way they prefer, I'm more than happy to share the presentation that we created with a detailed comparison of WhatsApp and Teams. It's not just comparing the functionalities, which are of course more extensive in Teams, for example, file collaboration. It's also comparing the security aspects, and so this document covers all the sides that might be important to you. So both security and the collaboration and the additional functionalities that are not available in WhatsApp. So please get in touch, and we will share the detailed documents to help you with this.
So another question, I think this is a feature question. So how can we have a meeting with external users from one company? So I mean, it's a setting that you need to first enable in the IT admin side, just to enable external users to communicate with other organizations, and then you'll be able to using their email chat with them. Or if you set up an event or in a meeting, you can send them a link and they can join through the web browser. So that question I kind of answered. The other one,
we can add that now they can invite 300 participants to their meetings.
Yeah, So Aisha, the question to you is, how do you sustain people continuously learning on Microsoft Teams even after training and workshops?
Yeah, this is a little bit challenging because you know, whenever you did a campaign and awareness, people are very enthusiasm, and we include all managers, and most of the manager insist their employees to use the advantage of the tool. However, if you stop once you stop this, you will feel the drop of the utilization of the employee. But we always give communication awareness for the employee. And since Office 365, it's a cloud tool, and they have lots of enhancement in every day. Sometimes the changes happen for in a week for most of the Office 365 applications, like Whiteboard, Planner, Teams, Exchange. So we need to keep informing users that those tools are very useful, and it will help you for accomplish your task much more fast and easy and in a professional way. But at the end, you need to keep doing the awareness session and remind user that we have this, they are empowered with this tool, and it will help them to accomplish their task.
Yeah, that's great. I think also another question, maybe as a follow-up, which is what tools, resources did you use to educate employees on M365 besides Champions?
What do you mean by resources? We have lots of various resources. We are discussing, give the awareness in different communication tool, like our SharePoint Online. We publish multiple, we have published multiple user manuals for the user in how to use Office 365 tool. We did an awareness let's say general awareness events with for various departments in different areas and across the Emirates Steel factory, and we are doing also multiple one-to-one training for the user, and we keep our support team are available for any inquiry from the end user and any assistance.
Yeah.
Also, we do exchange email frequently for the user to update them on the new features, and we always address the learning link for Office 365. Since it's coming from Microsoft, and they have the latest update and very easy and intuitive user manual.
Yeah, there is another question which I think also related to learnings, which we are seeing becoming more and more popular these days, which is about having a learning management system. So did you have any the question is, did you use any learning management system in at Emirates Steel, like where you upload content and then users go through the curriculums?
Yeah, exactly. Whenever we do, even whenever we host any end user session, we record those sessions, and we publish it via our learning management system, and in intranet, and in our enterprise resource planning success factor we are using. It's a part of SAP. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it is a request that we are. I mean, as Cloud4, we're getting this as well from multiple clients. I think it's related to people being more online and doing more like remote working. So LMS, I mean, having content on LMS is becoming more and more popular.
Yes. and they can watch it whenever they want on the go, because it's also a cloud-based solution, and it's integrated with the Microsoft Stream, so they have the app on their mobile or from their home devices or office.
Yeah, great. So I think there is another question. Maybe it's related to our cloud. So can you do cost saving calculation for our organization? So yeah,
both of us can answer this.
Yes,
yeah, Nika, you can answer. So you can just.
I can answer it and let you do the work, right? So yes, definitely we can help you with this. Again, you can use the same email address that we showed to contact us, or contact us through LinkedIn, and we're more than happy to do the calculation for you and show you how much you can save with Microsoft Teams.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that as a total cost of ownership, you know, if there is an exercise to be done, if you want to, not only what you're paying to Microsoft, but what you're paying for other tools, what are the savings that you could achieve, and all these things. This is an exercise that is possible to do as well at your organization. So I think, yeah, the last comment is, can I receive the WhatsApp versus presentation? So I think we will send it to you along with the recording of that. I think we have another question here, and then before we close, we have just one minute. How effectively we use Power Apps and define Power Apps partner. So yes. So basically, someone who is happy to attend the session and was asking about Power Apps, Power Automate, and all the Power integration with Microsoft Teams. It is something that I mean, we can help you with, and we're happy to have this conversation offline. So you can contact us, and we can help you with what you're looking for, like building the form and approval workflow behind, and all these things which are part of Office 365. So no problem with that. I think we have just 1 minute, so I think I'm going to take that minute to, again, I mean, first, thank you a lot, Aisha, for your participation, contribution, insights. It's been, I think, a great success story for the region, and Microsoft is also backing up, you know, this success, and they're very proud of what you have achieved. Would like to thank you, Nika, for all your insights and participation, and of course, thank you all for attending. It's great to have a lot of people attending our webinars. We're happy to share information as we can, and we're looking forward to talking to you again.
Yes, thank you all. Thank you, Aisha, for joining us, and thank you everyone for being with us today. And please don't hesitate to use our LinkedIn event as a networking event to introduce yourselves, to ask us any questions, and we hope to meet you and to talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you all, and bye. Have a good day.
Thank you, Aisha. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Thank you. Bye-bye.